Well, I remember when I was in my early 20s and just knowing that there needed to be an answer out there and that it wasn't going to be TB and it wasn't, that whole exercise-induced asthma thing just didn't feel right as a diagnosis. And what was fantastic is just to have such a neat GP who had been our family doctor since I was a kid and who knew me and who cared about our family, which was great. And she persevered with us and continued kind of doing tests and kind of just didn't give up on it. And I guess what was good as well is in the meantime I'd been overseas, I'd done my OE, lived in London, done lots of travelling, and by the time I came home it kind of felt like when we restarted the tests, technology had caught up a little bit and we were at that stage able to get, you know, pretty much an ironclad diagnosis from a CT scan, which simply hadn't been possible the years earlier when we tried to do that. So it was just so important to have a GP who was prepared to, I guess, kind of walk alongside us and you know, be fighting for what we needed as a family and the answers that we needed to have. So that was just great.
When you were at the hospital the night of your diagnosis, you were given a radiology report with a big long word underlined. Do you remember that?
I don't actually remember a lot of it that clearly, and I'm not really sure if that's because it was so long ago or whether it's because it was so awful I've sort of blanked lots of it out. I remember that the doctor didn't know how to say it, and that didn't really fill me with a lot of confidence. And I remember him saying 9 out of 10 women die within 10 years of exhibiting symptoms. And all I could do in my head was think, oh my God, I first coughed up blood 7 years ago, I'm going to be dead in 3 years. They're telling me I'm going to be dead in 3 years. So that just really stuck there. I remember just there not being much information around it all. And that was one of the things that just made me feel so kind of vulnerable and sort of so in the dark with it. I mean, it was way before everyone was emailing and you could just do Google searches and things. And I remember my mum getting information from my uncle's brother, I think, in Australia, and me writing a letter off to the States. So that was sort of the beginning of my mum doing all of the stuff that she's been doing with her overseas travel and getting people together and making things happen. And I just kind of tried to get on with accepting that there was this thing, but just trying to not have it impact on my life more than it needed to. I think there's probably lots of things that family members can do once a woman and their family is diagnosed with LAM. We're so fortunate now that we can access information so easily. There can be a Google search. I mean, I imagine that somebody could kind of find their way to our website, you know, within a couple of clicks. And I think that's really important, not only for the woman who's been diagnosed, but for her family, for her partner, parents, kids. It's just a lot easier to get that information now, and I just really encourage people to do that. And also, hopefully, and it's part of why I wanted to kind of be involved with the webisodes, hopefully also just to kind of see that it doesn't all have to look so grim and so black. And it is a horrible thing and it does impact on your life, but there's hope for a lot of us, and I suppose for me, 14 years on, living pretty much a normal life, yeah, I just kind of wanted people to know that there is hope out there and that this is a diagnosis and a condition that people can live with.